launching a new business, man, it's a whirlwind.
Yeah.
But let's face it, cybersecurity, sometimes it can feel like you've landed on a whole other planet.
It can be a bit daunting.
Especially if, tech isn't really your thing.
Yeah.
Firewalls, data breaches, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a lot.
Yeah.
But hey, you're not alone if you're feeling a little overwhelmed.
Exactly. So many new business owners, they feel that way too. It's like, where do I even begin?
Right.
But it's such a critical area, particularly when you're building your reputation, starting from scratch.
Couldn't agree more. And that's precisely why we're doing this deep dive today.
Okay.
We're going to break down why firewalls are so crucial when it comes to protecting your business's reputation.
Yeah.
We're going to be digging into this article. It's called, What is a Firewall?
Yeah.
And Why is it important in cybersecurity?
Oh, great. Awesome.
It's a fantastic starting point for anyone who's new to all of this.
It really is. Lays it out nicely.
Yeah, breaks it down.
Absolutely. It explains, in very simple terms, a firewall is basically a security device that creates a barrier between your internal network,
Got it.
where all your important data is,
Yeah.
and the outside world, which includes, of course, the internet.
So it's like this digital boundary, right, protecting your business from any unwanted guests.
Exactly. That is a fantastic way to put it. It's all about controlling what's coming in and going out of your network.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't leave the doors to your business wide open overnight, would you?
No way.
A firewall does the same thing in the digital world. It prevents unauthorized access to all of your data.
Right. Yeah, you wouldn't do that.
Makes sense.
I think one thing that trips people up, though, is understanding, why this matters so much for their reputation,
Oh, that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
Because every time we hear about a company getting hacked on the news or wherever, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Honestly, I kind of start to wonder, should I be doing business with these guys?
Right.
It definitely makes me question their trustworthiness, for sure.
Exactly. And that's the real danger here. A data breach can just shatter customer trust.
Yeah.
Damage your brand image.
Yeah.
And ultimately really hurt your bottom line.
Yeah.
Particularly for a new business that's trying to, build its reputation.
Right.
The consequences, they can be devastating.
So it's not just about protecting the data itself.
Yeah.
It's about protecting the trust that you're building with your customers.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And that's where firewalls come in.
Okay.
They act as this safeguard
Yeah.
to prevent those reputation-damaging data breaches from happening.
Okay, so we've established firewalls are essential.
Yes.
But how do they actually work? This article uses the analogy of a border guard checking passports.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, imagine a border guard scrutinizing every single person that's trying to enter the country. They're checking passports, visas, and just looking for anything that seems a bit suspicious, right?
Yeah.
A firewall does something very similar. It examines every single piece of data that's trying to either enter or leave your network. And we call these packets.
Okay, data packets.
Yeah.
So is it like looking at where the data is coming from, where it's going, what kind of data it is?
Exactly. It checks the source and destination addresses,
Okay.
the type of application being used, and even more.
Wow.
It's like a super detailed inspection to ensure that nothing harmful slips through the cracks.
So the firewall is making decisions, right? Whether to allow or block the traffic based on these checks.
Exactly. It's not just a random wall.
Right.
This is an intelligent system.
Yeah, it's making choices.
Absolutely.
And that's where it starts to get really interesting because there are different types of firewalls,
There are.
each with its own way of analyzing that traffic and enforcing those security rules. Okay, I'm ready to dive into those different types. Where should we start?
Let's start with the most basic type, packet filter firewalls.
Okay.
Think of them as traffic cops, kind of directing cars at an intersection.
Okay.
They're looking at each car, or in this case, a data packet, and deciding if it can pass based on some pretty simple rules.
So are these rules like only allow cars coming from this direction or no trucks allowed?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
In the firewall world, those rules might be block all traffic from this specific IP address,
Gotcha.
or only allow web traffic, no file sharing.
Okay.
It's a very straightforward approach.
So what about those proxy service firewalls you mentioned? What makes them different?
So proxy service firewalls, they act as intermediaries.
Okay.
So instead of going directly to a website, you send your request to a proxy server.
Okay.
And that proxy server then retrieves the information for you.
So it's like having a personal assistant who handles all your online interactions for you,
Yeah.
shielding you from direct contact with the outside world.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Oh.
It adds that extra layer of protection because any malicious traffic is stopped at the proxy server before it can even reach your network.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the article also talked about stateful inspection firewalls.
Right.
What makes them special?
Stateful inspection firewalls are like security guards that are not only checking your ID,
Okay.
but they're also really paying attention to your behavior.
Okay.
They keep track of all the active connections and can analyze traffic patterns to try and spot anything that looks suspicious.
So it's not just looking at those individual data packets in isolation.
Exactly.
It's about understanding the context of that whole conversation.
Exactly, the big picture.
Okay.
And this makes them much better at detecting and blocking those sophisticated attacks that might slip past simpler firewalls.
It's like they're learning as they go, right?
Yeah, they're adapting.
It's becoming smarter over time.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And finally, we have the most advanced type, next generation firewalls, or NGFWs.
NGFWs?
Yes, these are like the all-in-one security systems of the firewall world.
Now, you mentioned these were cutting edge.
They are.
What sets them apart from the others?
Well, NGFWs, they combine all the features we've talked about so far, the packet filtering, proxy service, stateful inspection, and then they add even more advanced capabilities on top of that.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, one key feature is application-level inspection.
Okay.
So instead of just looking at the basic data packet, NGFWs can actually understand what applications are being used.
Wow.
And control traffic accordingly.
So for a new business owner, what would that look like in practice?
Let's say you have employees using social media.
Okay.
An NGFW could allow access to specific platforms for, work-related purposes.
Okay. Yeah.
While blocking others that might pose a security risk.
So it's like it can get very specific.
It can.
In terms of what it's allowing and blocking?
Yeah, much more granular level of control and protection.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
And they can also integrate with other security tools, providing a really comprehensive defense against a wide range of threats.
Yeah.
And, for a new business, especially one that's handling sensitive customer data, that level of protection can be invaluable.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We talked about why firewalls are so important for protecting that business's reputation.
Right.
We dived into the different types.
Yeah.
But for someone just starting out, all this can feel a bit overwhelming.
Of course.
Where do they even begin?
You're absolutely right. It is a lot to take in. But the good news is you don't have to become a cybersecurity expert overnight.
So what's that first step for a new business owner who wants to take their cybersecurity seriously?
The most important thing is awareness.
Okay.
And you've already taken that first step by listening to this deep dive.
Oh, well.
So kudos to you for that.
Appreciate it.
But the next step is to kind of assess your specific needs, right? What kind of data are you handling?
Yeah.
What are your biggest security concerns? What keeps you up at night?
So take stock of what you're trying to protect and what those potential risks are.
Exactly. And once you have a clearer picture of that, you can start looking at some more specific solutions. And remember, you don't have to go this alone.
Right.
There are plenty of resources available to help you.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, for starters, there are cybersecurity consultants who can provide that expert guidance and help you choose the right firewall for your business.
So they can act as like a guide, right?
Exact.
Helping you navigate all those options and make informed decisions.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of online resources.
Yeah.
There are tons of informative websites, blogs, forums dedicated to cybersecurity.
So even if you're not a tech expert, you can still learn a lot.
You can.
Stay up to date on the latest threats and all that.
Absolutely. And one thing I always recommend is talking to other business owners in your industry.
Okay, yeah.
See what they're doing, what challenges they've faced, what solutions they've found.
Right.
It's amazing what you can learn from just shared experiences.
It's like building a community of support, right?
Yeah.
Where everyone's kind of looking out for each other.
Exactly. I love that analogy because at the end of the day, cybersecurity isn't just about the technology.
Right.
It's about people. It's about protecting your business, your customers, and your reputation.
Well said. And, thinking back to that board guard analogy, it makes me realize a firewall is more than just a piece of software, right?
It is.
It's peace of mind.
It is. It really is.
Knowing that you have a system in place that's actively working to protect you even when you're not thinking about it.
Exactly.
And for a new business owner, That kind of peace of mind can be invaluable.
It is.
Frees you up to focus on what you do best,
Exactly.
growing the business, serving your customers.
Absolutely. And as your business grows, your cybersecurity needs, they're going to evolve too.
Right.
The key is to stay informed.
Stay vigilant.
Stay vigilant and always be willing to adapt.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we can.
Understanding the importance of firewalls, exploring all those different types available.
Yep.
But most importantly, we highlighted why cybersecurity is so crucial.
It is.
For protecting a new business's reputation.
Couldn't agree more. It's not just a technical issue.
Right.
This is a business imperative.
Absolutely.
It's about building that trust with your customers.
Yeah.
Safeguarding the future of your company.
So to our listeners out there, remember, investing in cybersecurity is investing in the success of your business.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are resources and support available every step of the way.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We hope this episode has empowered you to take control of your cybersecurity and protect that reputation you've worked so hard to build.